This impressive 16th century New Spain work, called the Old Palace of Cortés, where the Regional Museum of the Peoples of Morelos, or Regional Museum Cuauhnáhuac, is now located, was built by order of none other than Hernán Cortés himself. It is a building of historical interest, not only because of its age, but because it is one of the first military palaces erected in the territory invaded by the Spanish on the American continent. In 1531, Hernán Cortés commissioned its construction to use it as a family residence and headquarters of the Marquisate of the Valley of Oaxaca. This makes it one of the oldest civil buildings preserved in Mexico, and by definition, it is concentrated here without a doubt the richest historical legacy of the state of Morelos. Now, returning to those times of yesteryear, where everything happened so suddenly, as was their costume, the invaders came, destroyed at will, took what was not theirs, subjugated entire towns, and essentially did everything as they saw fit. This is just one more example. Long before the invasion, this entire space was occupied by an ancient pre-Hispanic Tlahuica settlement between the years 1325 and 1521 AD. And right here, on this very site, there was a place called Tlatlocayacalli, essentially a ceremonial and tribute center, which had the function of collecting taxes from the populations dependent on the Cuauhnáhuac lordship, governed by the chief known as Yoatzin. Once its destruction was complete, the first castle palace was built on the ruins, which would undergo several transformations over the years. The ruins of the Tlahuica structures can be seen in front of the palace, in the middle of some gardens, and in several open patios within the same museum. Cortés is known for having been a tyrant, a selfish and cruel man, combined with his great propaganda skills that played in his favor during the conquest of Mexico and in the following years. He thus manipulated and exploited native chiefs, women, both indigenous and Spanish, and also officials allied to the crown, with whom, incidentally, he was at odds. During a long expedition that took Cortés to present-day Honduras to reaffirm the conquered territories, other Spaniards sent by the crown tried to take over his territory in Cuauhnáhuac. Father Melgarejo, who had remained in charge of this territory, had a chapel built to declare it Holy Land, so that it could not be confiscated by Cortés' enemies. When Cortés returned, he recovered his possessions in Cuernavaca, including the newly built annex chapel, and made some structural modifications to unite the two buildings into a single structure. The construction of the palace was directed by Cortés himself, reusing, as was customary, materials from the previous Tlahuica constructions that occupied the site, and also employing indigenous labor. On one of its columns, an indigenous inscription was found containing the date the work was completed, Nahui Acatl, for reed, according to the Aztec calendar, which corresponds to the year 1535 in our calendar. Over the centuries, the building has served various functions: a palace, a Catholic church, a space for the Artisans Guild, a prison, a government headquarters, and the emperor's office, to name a few. Hernán Cortés' son inherited the title of Marquis of the Valley of Oaxaca. After his death, claimed his property and temporarily lived in the palace. After several changes of hereditary ownership, the palace was abandoned by its then owners and temporarily occupied by the Artisans Guild, who used its facilities for various activities. The structure had deteriorated over time, and to justify its restoration, it was converted into the Royal Prison of Cuernavaca. which was used during the War of Independence. Later, in 1855, it was used as the seat of government of the Republic. From 1864 to 1866, it served as the office of Maximiliano de Habsburgo and as the seat of the government palace of the newly established state of Morelos in 1869. The Congress Hall, City Hall, and political headquarters were added to its structure, and the jail that existed from earlier periods was maintained. Today, the building has been converted into the Cuauhnáhuac Regional Museum, which houses a collection of historical and archaeological pieces of pre-Hispanic, New Spain, and national significance, as well as one of the most famous murals by the artist Diego Rivera. If you like this video, you can subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video. See you next time. God bless. Tlatlocayacalli.